Hi, my name is Nipa Merval.
And my name is Daria Mohammedzadeh, and we are from Olathe North High School.
Today we will be presenting the types of gynecological cancers as well as their symptoms, treatments, and survival rates through a short skit. To assist us with this skit, we have Mrs. Rhonda Rice, a survivor of ovarian cancer herself. This is a little overview of what we will be going over, and let's get started. Hi, ma'am. What brings you in today?
Well, doctors, I recently got a genetic test to see what cancers I could potentially get, and my results confirmed that I have a genetic mutation on breast cancer gene 1. And I researched a bit and found out that this could also cause ovarian cancer, and my family has a history of that. So I was wondering if I could get some basic information about these cancers and ovarian cancer itself.
Yes, of course. So let's start by talking a bit about cancer. Cancer is a malicious disease which is caused by the rapid and uncontrollable replication of cells. These cells eventually invade nearby tissue and spread throughout the body. The mass production of cancerous cells deprive regular cells of important nutrients that would help them potentially fight off disease, making the body weaker and more prone to illness.
And in this diagram, you can see the 5 areas where women are most commonly affected with gynecological cancers in the United States. Now, the 5 main types of gynecological cancers are individual and unique in themselves, but 4 out of the 5 cancers, cervical, uterine, vaginal, and vulvar, can be caused by HPV, old age, and smoking. While ovarian cancer's causation is more dependent on genetic mutations, specifically in breast cancer gene 1 and 2, which is the one that you have.
Well, what symptoms or what signs should I be looking for?
So ovarian cancer can exhibit abnormal vaginal bleeding or discharge, as well as feeling full too quickly or difficulty eating, pelvic pain or pressure, a more frequent urge to urinate, or having constipation, bloating, and back pain. And because ovarian cancer has symptoms that are similar to other cancers, we compiled this chart so that you could distinguish between the symptoms of the other gynecological cancers.
And as soon as you think you're experiencing any of these symptoms, it's important to come visit us as soon as possible because early detection of cancer can lead to higher survival rates. It's really good that you got a genetic test done because it's an efficient way for early prediction and detection of cancer, which will help our team and you be ready to combat this cancer. Now, as you come to the clinic, we would do some tests on you to properly diagnose. Usually, we would do a physical exam where we would feel for any abnormalities and look for discoloration. But because this is most probably ovarian cancer, we would try to use other testing mechanisms. We may do some laboratory testing where we would collect your blood and urine samples to look for any irregularities caused by disease. We may also use scanning tests such as MRIs, CTs, and PET scans to non-invasively examine you. If non-invasive techniques aren't giving us proper results, we may have to perform a biopsy where we would enter your body surgically to collect samples of cancerous cells. Once we have completed the diagnosis, we can look at potential treatment options. So we could use a drug-based pathway involving chemotherapy or targeted drug therapy, or we may approach a more manual pathway where we would remove the cancer surgically. And a last option could be radiation therapy, where we would use high energy particles or waves to help destroy this cancer.
Okay, well, what are the survival rates for these sorts of cancers?
Right. So when it comes to statistics for survival rates, many researchers use the 5-year relative survival rate method. The data presented here shows the chances of the patient has of surviving 5 years after detection. The data on the chart shows the average survival rate for each cancer, and this mean is derived from averaging the statistics of different characterizations of the cancers, and the 3 types of characterizations being localized, regional, and distant cancers, describing how far the cancer has spread. The more it has spread, the less chance of survival would be. It is important to consider that these rates are from 2019, and with time, we see a vast improvement in treatment options, helping combat cancer in a vigorous way that would boost survival rates.
And here you can see a timeline of important advancements in research and treatment of gynecological cancer. The gene that you have a mutation on was cloned in 1994, and it opened many opportunities for research because of this.
Thank you so much for helping me. This has been very informative.
No problem. For most of our information and statistical research, we use the CDC and the Mayo Clinic. Shockingly, according to Yale Medicine, over 100,000 women experience gynecological cancers in the United States every year.
And instead of doing a typical presentation, we decided to do a small skit to not only provide the crucial information, but to do it in a way where we can raise awareness for gynecological cancers and show what a typical woman in the US experiences. We hope that the research and problems we present today are someday solved by the medical science industry. Thank you so much for your time and this opportunity.
Thank you, Olathe North. Let's see if we have some questions for you. Okay, first, were you surprised by any of the statistics that you learned about gynecological cancers?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Daria and I were discussing this a couple days ago, and it's really shocking that so many women have to go through this every day. And that's why we kind of decided to do a skit method, because we wanted to present what an ordinary woman can go through just because of the possibility of a gynecological cancer.
Thank you. What was the most interesting item that you learned during your research?
For me, it was how prevalent HPV was in causing these gynecological cancers. I mean, it played a role in almost every one of them, and most especially cervical cancer. And that's why it's really important to get an HPV vaccine, which we showed on our timeline when that was created.
And for me, it would probably be about how breast cancer gene 1 and 2 can cause a mutation that can result into this cancer. And it's crazy that this is actually happening on a micro level that is causing this vast cancer.
Thank you. Last question. You mentioned that 4 out of the 5 gynecological cancers can be caused by HPV. So what all did you find in your research about HPV and the importance of the vaccine?
Yeah, so HPV has been found to play a role in these cancers, like in cervical cancer. If it stays in your body and if your immune system cannot overcome it, it changes your cells in your lining of your cervix, and it makes them become cancerous. And as well with vulvar cancer, it can cause the skin condition vein, which is a risk factor for vulvar cancer. And yeah.
All right. Any other questions from our judges? All right. I am not seeing any. Thank you for a great presentation.